Oh gosh, I don't even know if we can put this on the air. I contemplated selling and it wasn't, I kind of came to my senses a little bit. It hit me like a brick while I was at work. Why don't I do a seller's note? And I basically would have had to cut him a check for roughly $500 a month. And then that would have been no money out of my pocket. Trying to figure out what the heck to do with my life. It's just an overinvestment in human capital. But you start seeing people day trading and all this other stuff and investing, and I was like super interested in that. One of the hardest lessons I learned was about, for those of you that are curious and want to look on a chart, I bought the absolute literal top. I lost 60. Are you up or down right now?
I am up compared to how far down I was before.
Yeah, you got to be getting closer to flat. Let's see, today it was hit 93, so we're getting closer. Do you know what your cost basis is?
Absolutely not. It's so hard because with the DCAing at all different amounts.
I feel like they purposely
don't let you see.
Yeah, like they don't collect that. I don't want to say they collect the information. They don't like give that
make it accessible. Yeah.
That's one thing that's been on my list is I have to go through and figure out what my cost basis is now.
But like it does show all my previous orders. So I guess if I wanted to, I could just probably put them in a spreadsheet. And
then, if you want to go through it and do it manually.
But it's going to be
you can
a lot of days.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm only down 21% now, which is
in the right direction.
Yeah, because I was down 27.
Have you changed your buying at all?
No, $8 a day.
Okay. So I know we were contemplating that for a little bit. You're talking about when the price was tanking, if you up it or not.
Yeah, it's tough because it's like, oh, it's on sale, but like, is it going to be more on sale?
Right. I was talking to a friend of mine about that. I think it was today in the deer stand. And it was like testing 92, and then it ended up going to like 93.
Right.
But I was like, oh, here we go. I was like, everyone's like going to hop back in, and then it's like now's when it flushes back down again. Like the one sign it starts showing recovery, everyone's like, here we go. It's like the second toilet flush, like every time.
Yeah, it's quite a roller coaster.
Not that I'm like the most experienced investor or trader in the planet, but like having some battle scars, I look at it and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember when that happened to me one time. And it's like at the end of the day, you like kind of get humbled enough times you realize that like Warren Buffett and all the old dudes that are like, yeah, just dollar cost average. And it's like, I think they were onto something. So they have like $1 bajillion. And I'm like, oh, negative 30% every time you look. I always think it's like, oh, I'm going to hold off. I'm going to buy it when it goes down all the way. And it's like, oh, no, I can't. Now it's going back up again. Like, It's never going to be this cheap again. Like, it goes back down again. It's like, you could have bought it 2 days ago at 86. It's like, now you're buying it at 92 because you're afraid it was going to go down. But then the minute it goes back up, you're like, oh, it's never going to come back down. We're never going to see these prices again.
It definitely plays tricks on your mind. That's for sure.
I actually contemplate, oh, gosh, I don't even know if we can put this on the air. When it dropped down to, I don't even know, what did it get down to, 80?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty close to it. I was like, I contemplated selling, and it wasn't, the only reason, I'm going to preface this, the only reason was because I told you we were looking at a duplex.
Yeah.
And everything's so expensive. So the down payment is like pretty substantial. And I was like, well, if it drops much more than this, like my down payment starts diminishing rather quickly. So I was like, even if I sold it now and it went up a little bit and I bought back in, it's like not the end of the world.
Right.
Like obviously if it went down and I bought back in, like no big deal. I'm better off than I was. But like even if it goes back up a little bit, just to have that option to buy that duplex. So we went and walked through it and it was whatever. I think it was a good deal. I had intentions of putting an offer in, but it had an accepted offer before I put in an offer, so it is what it is. This decision was made for me. I didn't act quick enough for various reasons. Right. But I contemplated for a short time selling, not because Bitcoin was going down, and I kind of came to my senses a little bit. And then that's when I really decided to go look at that duplex, as I was watching more stuff on YouTube and talking about people buying businesses. And I hear all the time about like I used to watch Bigger Pockets and stuff, how all this creative, like you talk to normal people, it's like, oh, you got to put 20% down. And like, The people that have all this real estate, like, don't do that.
Yeah.
Or at least that's not how they get started. And then some person bought this business and they did a seller note. And I was like, oh, I was like listening. And then like, oh, for the audience that doesn't know what a seller note is, like if you're going to buy a business and you didn't have any money to put down, like say you go to the bank and you'd finance 80% through the bank, you'd finance the 20% down through the owner. So basically you'd set up some terms, some interest or whatever, and they would finance the down payments. So you wouldn't put any money down. I'm like, why don't I do that with the duplex? I was like, why don't I finance 20% down through the owner? Because this owner was looking to sell his duplex and then rent it back, the portion he was living in, rent it back until he found a house. So we don't really know how long, but it hit me like a brick while I was at work. I was like, why don't I do a seller's note, finance the 20% down through the owner, and then the 20% down, say it was over 3 years. It's like he wants to rent his place back. Like I'd still have to cut him a check. The way the numbers worked out, the way the numbers worked out is it would have been roughly $1,666 a month is what I would have had to pay him. This was factored at 0% interest because we didn't know the terms. Like I hadn't talked to the owner yet, but just rough back of the napkin math is it would have been like $1,666 a month on top of the mortgage. And if you would have rented it back, the other side he had rented in the past, he was renting at like $1,150 to someone and had never raised the rent. And the only reason they moved out is because they bought a house. So I was like, well, I could give the same deal to him, rent it back to him for $1,150 a month and be like, I'll never raise the rent. So he would have had a place to live. And I basically would have had to cut him a check for roughly $500 a month. But that would have came out of the down payment. So he wouldn't have had to pay anything per month to live. And he still would have been getting paid 500 and some bucks a month to live there. So it's like,
yeah, seems like a win-win.
Yeah. If he's looking for a house, it's a great deal for me. Cause like if he doesn't find a house or one he can afford or one he's in love with, he's not going to be in any rush to move. Yeah. Plus it sold, I don't know, a couple years ago and it literally doubled in price. So like he has a ton of equity. So it's like he would have gotten a decent check in equity and then got paid 500 some bucks a month to live there
on top. Yeah.
So, and then that would have been no money out of my pocket.
Right.
And then ultimately, if he would have ended up moving out, I would have just rented that side out again anyway. And then I would just I'd have to make a pretty healthy payment for 3 years for the money down, but I wouldn't have to sell any of my appreciating assets or investments.
But so you gotta be quick.
Yeah.
Gotta be quick.
Other reasons that didn't pan out, but.
See, I was on the opposite end. I was like, do I sell my rental so I can get over one whole Bitcoin right now?
Right. So I really didn't, I have no intentions of selling, but that was the only reason I thought about it. I'm like, that's so dumb. I was like, why don't I just finance it? Yeah. The down payment. Because ultimately I would have rented one side out and then my significant other and I would have been living in the other side and we would have made it work.
Right.
And just would have been a pretty healthy payment for a couple of years. But after that place would have cash flowed a lot. Like, I think that place would have been a really good deal. It really would have. I wish it would have worked out, but.
On to the next one.
Yeah. That stuff happens. But yeah, it was nice to exercise my brain a little bit and start running the numbers and like figuring stuff out like that. And for me, I think all the best deals, honestly, are in the terms of the deal. It's not the asking price. Everyone looks at the asking price. And I even talked to the realtor that I just wanted to go look at the property. Was on Zillow and I was like, I want to see this property. And then some random realtor got assigned to me and I was talking to her and I was like, oh, you selling my duplexes and this and that. And she's like, no, not really. Or they're not on the market long. And I was like, yeah, I've been looking she's like asking if I've been looking. I was like, yeah, I've been looking on and off for a long time. It's just like the numbers always look terrible. Mm-hmm. She's like, yeah, they're kind of upside down and blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah,
we've noticed.
And that's why I looked at this one. Like, I really think that in the long run would have been a great deal for me, but just it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, I remember when we found it, or you found it and shared it with me. I think before you came to those terms, even just putting 20% down, the numbers came out fine.
Yeah, like really good to be honest. Like I think that really was a good buy. Yeah. The place wasn't perfect. Like I walked around and it's like
no places.
It's a rental, and I'm like looking and it's like, oh, there's a bunch of patch jobs on the wall, and it's like the trim's got paint all over it, and I'm like thinking about it, and it's like. It's all a frame of mind. I'm like, am I going to like walk into a not brand new duplex and be like, wow, this is really nice. And it's going to hit my price point and it's going to cash flow. And I'm like, all right, maybe I'm being a little unrealistic. And then meanwhile, I've rented places in the past. And you're like, well, there's not that nice. And it's like, well, yeah.
I'm not paying that much.
Right. So I'm trying to pan out what to, it's rough out there, what to invest in next. So my Q4, and we talked about Q4 goals in the past, how we didn't have anything laid out, but my Q4, once I hit my goals, typically ends up being live a little. And I spend some money on hobbies and enjoy life a little bit. Mm-hmm. But I'm already focused on Q1 and like trying to set up, financial metrics for my next year. There's a handful of things. I'd like to get saved up for down payment on a house or building a house. That's some asset I don't have to sell, but also just keeping in the back of my mind, my car's got a pile of miles on it. And it's like, if my car were to have some kind of catastrophic failure tomorrow, it's like, God, I'd be in a real pickle. Like I'd have to sell investments I don't want to sell or like take a loan out. I'm like, oh, like I should start putting away a few bucks a month in an investment to save up for a car. It's like, that's been kind of in my mind is like,
sure.
Every time I get paid, throw a couple bucks. Where do I put the couple bucks? Same thing with the down payment or the liquid funds to buy or build a house. Like trying to figure out what vehicle's a good vehicle, and like everything seems terrible. So I don't know. That's been weighing on me a lot. The more I thought about it with Bitcoin's last pullback, I'm like, oh, buy more Bitcoin. I'm like, I don't know if I should do that.
Right. Especially because you don't know how soon you want to pull it out.
Yeah. And that's kind of where I was with this situation with the duplex. It's like, if I got to sell it early, it's not really ideal.
Yeah.
So before I was thinking about physical gold, but I'm like, same issue now. Like I go to look at this duplex and it's like, I got to drag it somewhere and then prices up or prices down. And it's like physical stuff's just hard to move, hard to sell. You either got to insure it and ship it and agree on a price of some online place, or you got to take it to whatever your local establishment is. And hopefully it's not a pawn shop. I don't know. I think it's going to be a gold ETF of sorts. That's kind of the way I've been leaning. I was a little nervous because typically gold, like you start to see a lot of inflation on the horizon and people like load up in gold, and like gold makes a big move.
As we've seen.
Yeah. And then it's like, it doesn't have like monumental performance for a long time. It's
right.
Like, so it already moved.
Right.
I'm like, okay. So like I already missed the move. Not to say I'm like looking for it to go up a bunch, but I just don't want to see like, I don't want to hold it for 2 years and it goes down 5%. Like at that point, it would have been more beneficial on cash. I mean, which isn't good, but at face value or nominal value, it's like it'd still be flat. So I was like, I don't know. But I think gold's been setting up again. I think it's going to keep inching forward. Well, this landscape out there is not very good.
Yeah, I've just been racking my brain. I can't think of anything like I can even suggest. It's not great.
Yeah, everything I look at, and like I've looked into real estate too. Not that like if I'm trying to save to build or buy a house, like if I go buy something else, that's not saving. Like,
right,
it's not really achieving that goal. But also like real estate, I'm not like it's doubled in our area. It's doubled in like the last 5 years. So like it's made its move. So like, are we going to see much appreciation over the next 5-10 years? Maybe not. Rents are starting to come down a little bit. So it's like the numbers at work right now, like you always envision, like if the numbers are good now, you're good. Cause like rent typically goes up, but like rents are from time to time do go down slightly, not much, but I mean, they rocket it up and then usually they pull back a little bit and taper off. But so part of me thought about saving for that in Bitcoin because Bitcoin pulled back so much. And it's like, well, I just basically, relatively speaking, when I started piling into Bitcoin was kind of around the same price levels. Like it was a little bit cheaper than what it is today. But like I basically bought all the way up. And then like I hit that goal where like I don't ever want to sell that Bitcoin, or not for multiple decades. It's like, well, if I can do that over again and buy at the same price levels, like it's really appealing, especially not knowing how everything else is going to do.
But what are you going to do with it?
Well, I'd save it, I'd use that for liquid funds, but
assuming something comes up.
Yeah. When it comes up, it's not on a down sweep.
Yeah.
Because if we talk about, inside of 2 years, don't necessarily want that to be in Bitcoin, but honestly, I think with it pulling back like it has, like that has the most upside right now. So it's been really hard for me to not like, oh, just buy more.
Right.
The more I've been thinking about this lately too is I'd like to retire early or have the option to. And I haven't come up with a good strategy for that yet, because basically all your retirement accounts, like you can't just start drawing out of them whenever, like you have to be a particular age.
Right.
So it's like, well, how do you afford to live from say 50 to 62 or 65? It's like, how do you get there?
Or 70
yeah.
in our case.
Right. So I'm trying to figure out like what vehicle or how to do that. And honestly, the more I think about it, like I think that's going to be what my long-term Bitcoin goes towards.
Oh, I see.
I how that, just same as you all over time. Like once I get my liquid funds for those big purchases in whatever vehicle, I think after that, like I'll continue to add into Bitcoin as another form of retirement savings. And that would be the vehicle that gets me over the hump to retirement age before I collect Social Security, pension, 401k, Roth, all of those.
Yeah.
So I think that's what will get me over the hump. So hopefully it appreciates like a mother because I don't want to work forever.
Yes. Appreciate your mothers.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's probably one of my biggest fears too, is like, I stopped like at work, we had this thing where it like keeps increasing your percentage of how much you put into your 401k or whatever. I stopped that real quick, because my biggest fear actually is that 50 to 65 range is like, what if I want to retire?
How do you get there?
Yeah. If I can't touch my money, what good is it to me?
Or you have to pay a penalty.
Well,
it's
yeah.
Like,
Nobody wants to do that either.
Right. But for a lot of different people, there's a lot of different avenues. And also, when I looked at that duplex, it's hard to peg that strategy right now, especially when it comes to real estate. It's like you're on a good trajectory to pay off your rental, but that could change in say 5 years. And you're like, well, actually, good opportunity. I could pull money out of that equity. And it's like, I could buy another one. Mm-hmm. Or I could buy two, or I could put a bunch of money down and pay it off. So like the strategy can change over time, which is good. Like you don't necessarily just pick one thing and then stick with it for 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
I mean, things change. So to me, it was like, I was looking at that duplex and I was like, well, if that's paid off, and I mean, by the time I'm 50, rent's going to be pretty freaking expensive. And, two sides of a duplex is a pretty substantial amount of money. I mean, even to cover CapEx, roof and water heaters and stuff like that, I'm like, I should still be, if you have something like that, like you'll still be sitting pretty, maybe multiple thousands of dollars a month.
$10,000 a month per side.
Yeah, that'd be nice. So like, that's an opportunity too, for those, wanting to get over that hump. Is like real estate is good, depending on your age. I mean, even if you take out a 30, I don't know about a 50, but a 30-year mortgage, that could get you over the hump. I mean, if you're in your 20s and you want to retire in your mid 50s, if you bought, got into a duplex, by that time be paid off, even if it was just one, it's like that's a decent amount of income. That'll help.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and then you 10x that shit. You're sitting pretty good.
Yeah. And put vending machines in all of them.
Yeah.
We laughed because I texted him the other day. I was like, I need some vending machines. I forgot I was going to bring a bubbler to work. I was like, I need some caffeine at work today. I went to go buy a bubbler, and this thing was $3 and change. Yeah. And I almost put it back, but bubbler, I need the caffeine.
Yeah.
But man, they are raking it in with those vending machines, I tell you.
So one of the videos I listened to this week at work, actually, I'm pretty confident. Some time ago, I actually watched this, and I've kind of rewatched it because it's been so long, I forgot most of it. And about being, I'll say, rich or retiring early, I heard a good quote. It's by Dan Martell, was saying that if money doesn't change your day, then you're already rich. Because most people are like,
I like that.
Wealth is this and rich is that. And it's like, it's just a different way to think about it. It's like, if you had a bunch of money and your day doesn't really change, it's like you're already there.
Yeah.
Like someone gave you $500,000. It's like, if that doesn't dramatically change your life, then you're already there.
Yeah, there's a lot to process there. That's big.
That was a good way to look at things. I mean, some people might take a little bit of money and they quit their job and move or buy a new house or whatever. But, right. I mean, other people, like if you're happy where you're at, and it's like if you're one of those people that loves your job and like you're not going to quit and nothing's going to change in your life, it's like, check that box already.
Yeah, but on the flip side too, like if you lost $500,000.
I'm not rich, nor am I wealthy. I need that money.
I mean, but still, there's a lot to be said for that too, though.
Yeah. There's been a lot of negative sentiment around Bitcoin lately. Everyone's like, this is it. It's over. It's the end. It's going down to $5. It's going to zero.
I mean, I was one of those people too, kind of.
Yeah.
I talked myself out of it, but it can't go to zero.
Why is that?
Adam Back put in a bid. Like if it kept going down and down and down, he put in for all 21 million coins at a penny. So
it'll never go to zero.
Yeah.
210,000.
Yeah. So if I had double that though, I'd put it at 2 pennies.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That's all mine.
Yeah, I heard an interesting stat the other day. I was listening to Monday Mailbag by Jack Mallers, and I guess he was looking at on-chain data, and I guess I don't know what they technically classify short-term holders are, but that people have owned Bitcoin for not a long duration of time, their average cost basis is like 91,000. It's like, I don't know if that's like 6 months of holding or what it is, but
hey, I'm above average.
their cost basis is like 91,000. So like, they've been in it for 15 minutes and it goes down and the world's over. I think of the meme, like, first time. Like, I even experienced, this is actually the biggest drawdown I've experienced, just because at one point it was like 68,000, then it went down to like 30, and then it went back up to like 68, and it's pretty much been up since then. So I started buying, I don't know, I want to say I'd bought and sold in the past, but I wasn't like a believer. I was kind of more of a trade. So I'd bought and sold like once or twice before that, but I wasn't a long-term holder at that point. But I've been buying and holding since almost exactly a year. Like, it was right around the election, kind of had that red sweep, and I was anticipating Trump was pretty Bitcoin friendly. So I was like, well, I think we're probably going to see some appreciation. So I started buying around that time. So some of my early buys were probably like high 60s, low 70s.
Nice.
And then, I bought all the way up. So like my cost basis isn't that low, but we went up to 126. So I was like, it feels pretty good when you started buying it. Even the low 70s, it's like, wow.
Yeah.
But I just bought kind of right place, right time. It's pretty much, I'm probably pretty close to flat as we speak right now, which I'm not really that concerned about because I'm holding for a few more decades. So, but yeah, I thought that stat was kind of interesting that most short-term holders, their cost basis is like 91,000.
Yeah, I could see that though. It makes sense when you put it that way.
So not just Bitcoin, but investing as a whole. I guess I'll share a little backstory. This was probably, I want to say like around 2020. I was really not happy with my job or my career at that point in time. I kind of plateaued, and I was just like, felt really claustrophobic. I'm like, is there just like anything else out there in life, or is like this just what the next 40 years looks like?
Oof.
So COVID hit, and obviously nobody knew what to expect. It's like, this isn't like a normal thing. And all of a sudden like shutdowns, and like everyone's going to stay home, and like world's ending. Well, I'd kind of, I don't know, probably for many reasons, but I'd kind of made a fuss where I had worked prior to this. And I was just trying to find a way out and trying to find other opportunities. I just wanted to do anything but what I was doing.
Right.
So I kind of raised a fuss, and I'd been in the owner's office a few times, good and bad. But when all this stuff happened, and I don't know, owners didn't know what to expect either, business owners. I was like, well, if we got to shut down or go to less people or whatever, it's like, I'm more than willing to take some time off. And, if other people need to work to pay bills, like I'm pretty comfortable. Like I can take some time off.
Yeah.
Versus firing people or everyone just staying home or whatever. That was quickly followed up by, if you don't want to wrench, we'll find someone else that does. And then that day, my toolbox was out of there. That was my last day. So I was kind of at a crossroads. I was exiting that career, trying to figure out what the heck to do with my life. And this is amongst COVID. It's like, I wasn't like I was like a non-essential worker or like got fired. More or less, we just parted ways. It just wasn't a good fit. I was done doing what I was doing, and I just found myself going to work and doing the minimum to not get fired. But like, I was basically like just dragging a leg, like not intentionally, like I was just unmotivated and unfulfilled in life.
So what'd you start doing?
So from that point, I was trying to figure out what to do with my life. Everything up until that point, like I'd gone to college right out of high school, kind of with mechanical engineering in mind. It just, the college thing just at that time just like wasn't for me. Like I didn't have the maturity for it, for one. I've just always been like high energy and I can't sit still, and like I just like go go go, and it's hard to do that. And like I remember one of my last semester at community college, I was in like a jazz history class, and it like wasn't the worst class ever, but
I could get into that.
I'm like thinking about it. I'm like, I didn't mind the class, but I'm like, it's just really hard to go to class every day. And it's like, I don't think college is a bad thing. Everyone is rough on college now because everyone my generation went to college. So like
Right.
now there's no blue collar trades workers, and it's just an over investment in human capital. But there's like a lot of other stuff you have to go through that doesn't pertain, like your core curriculum that just doesn't pertain. So I just like was super uninterested. And like I didn't have anything in mind that I would go to college for.
Yeah.
It was just really hard to pick something and to go do it. So this is when all the Robin Hood and the Weevil and all the exchanges started to become bigger. And then you start seeing people day trading and all this other stuff and investing. And I was like super interested in that. So one thing I just kind of been passionate about was investing or trading at the time. I mean, every strategy, I wanted to learn about them all. And I started taking classes. Well, not up until this point, I had not taken any classes, but I'd watched tons of YouTube content. And there's good stuff and there's bad stuff on any topic on YouTube. Like you kind of have to wade through it and find something that's worthwhile to watch. And I started trading and I learned a lot very quickly. I learned a lot of the rules and regulations, cash counts, margin accounts, PDT or pattern day trader rules. Like you can only trade so many times before funds have to settle if your balance is under 25,000. I learned a ton really quickly. I learned one of the hardest lessons I learned was about market halts. And I didn't really know much about them, but to be honest, I can't remember the exact percentage, but if a stock moves, there's more. If a stock moves, I believe it's like 10% in a very short duration of time, the market will halt. That ticker will halt to stabilize the price. So you don't see some cataclysmic either upward or downward event.
Okay.
And at that particular time, I was learning about like momentum trading and stocks that were rapidly going up. I'm talking about like stuff that goes up like hundreds of percent a day. And I bought in.
So it's just, does it halt multiple times a day then?
It can.
Oh, okay.
So basically, it's low float, or there's a low number of shares. Like it has abnormally high volume. So anyway, long story short, I bought into this stock. The ticker was AIKI at the time. Since then, their ticker has changed.
Does it have to do with artificial intelligence? Or
No, it does not.
unrelated?
I believe it was in the medical industry.
Oh, okay.
For those of you that are curious and want to look on a chart, the ticker was AIKI. I don't know if the company's been bought out or what happened, but their ticker has changed. It is now DOMH. D as in dog, O, M as in Mary, H as in Henry.
I'll throw it up on the screen here for you guys.
I bought this stock in anticipation that it was going to move higher. I think it was like a biotech stock or something. And it's like, you always see these rumors like this company's like on the verge of curing cancer. And then like there's all this hype and the stock
Right.
goes to the moon. And then like 15 minutes later, like, yeah, actually the drug
They're
doesn't work.
bankrupt, yeah.
So I bought into this, and this was April 14th, 2020. For those of you who want to look at a stock chart, I bought the absolute literal top. Like I think it was the highest.
Couldn't do it again if you tried.
Yeah, I think I was the highest order to get filled. And it immediately halted and then opened dramatically lower. And this is kind of where I got a lot of my education from. In 3 hours and 4 minutes, I lost $6,300.50. And that was a bit of a wake-up call for me because at this point I have no job.
Right.
Like I'm investing savings, which is like I have a pretty high risk tolerance, but like you can't make many mistakes like that before like
Yeah.
you got to
gone.
go find any job application.
Yeah.
So like also when you're day trading, you really ideally want to be above 25,000 because then you don't have to abide by PDT rules or pattern day trading rules. But once that happened, I had to I closed my computer and I just kind of took the rest of the day off. And I really thought, focused on this. And I was like, wow. I was like, okay, well, that was a valuable lesson. Like what I did, I don't want to say there's nothing I could do to prevent that, but like there's more education that could be had. Everyone sells a course. They're like, join this Discord. Like there's so much garbage around this related to the internet. On the internet, just a word of caution. Like anyone's like,
Yeah.
we have all the best stock picks. Like all that stuff is garbage.
That's why we don't give financial advice here.
Yeah, I'm not saying there's not people who don't successfully day trade, but like most of these people that are like 20 on this gaming computer set, and they're like, it's just like, it's all garbage. So I started taking some classes. There's a few people on YouTube at that time. I don't know if they're still active or not. And I'll say things I'd recommend. I don't recommend trading. I really don't. It was really humbling for me because there's pretty much nothing in life up until that point that if I put my mind to it, like I couldn't accomplish. Like I've always been very confident in myself, and I don't want to say arrogant, but like anything I wanted to accomplish in life, like I did. Like I think I'm just like too stupid to quit. Like I think that's what it is like I'm just like too bullheaded. Like if you want to go to the moon, like you give me enough time and resources, like I will get you to the moon. Like I've always been that way. It's like I'll just find a way to get it done, and I'll just work twice as hard as anyone. So it was really humbling for me because I'm just at a crossroads and I'm really down in life because like I just don't have a path. I don't have a purpose. I don't have a direction. And then I just absolutely get smoked in the market this day. Yeah. I'm like, what do I do now? So what does any good trader do? They double down. I'm not saying I traded more, but I decided at that point I needed to get more educated. And at the time, there's some YouTube channels that I thought were good. They're not saying like which garbage stock to buy. They're like they're teaching you like they're educating you. They're talking about different patterns, whether it's fundamentals or it's technical analysis. So there's a lot of channels I followed, and a couple of these channels offered courses, and they're not like everyone offers this crap now, but there were some good ones I recommend if somebody wants to learn. Like I'm not saying the stuff still applies. You don't have to be a trader for the stuff to apply, but a couple of the classes I took, Zip Trader was one of them. I'd recommend that. I don't know if he's still making videos, but like he went through patterns quite a bit. I've even explained like candle charts like to you in the past. Like that's how I learned all this stuff is I took a bunch of classes. It was super valuable information. Zip Trader was a good one. And then another one I've taken was Warrior Trader. And I mean, there are people out there that make a lot of money day trading. Like it can be done, but that was kind of the first time in my life where I was like sat down and it's like, you're just not cut out for this.
Sure.
Like just emotionally, a lot of it's just emotionally. Like I feel like I'm not a very emotional person when it comes to this stuff, but I'm just like in certain ways, I'm so stubborn. I was revenge trading, but so I learned a lot through those classes. I would still recommend those classes if they're even still offering them. I thought those were two good ones. There's just a lot of the basics to be learned there. So from there, I took these courses and I got educated kind of in the markets and investing and stuff, and I learned a ton. That's where I got all my basics. I don't necessarily regret any of it. Like, I mean, I'm not saying it was all bad. Like I'm not saying like all my trades were losing, but at the end of it, I came out down. Right. But I learned so much that, I mean, in the end, I think it's still worthwhile. Even on top of that, like I was still looking, I learned a ton about like 401s and Roths and stuff at this time because like I had money in those accounts. And like when you leave a place, like those people that were managing that money aren't necessarily managing it after that if you're not contributing to it. So that's kind of how I learned all that stuff. It's kind of like someone that just grows up loving basketball and they play every day and they play in high school and they're like the best. And then they get to college and it's like, you're not the best anymore. Right. And then like they look at like the NBA level and it's like, you're not even on the map. Yeah. Like you're not even on the right planet. And it's like, wow, okay, well, this isn't for me, I guess. Like now what do I do? Like I'm not saying my whole life was focused on that, but it was like, I could achieve anything. And I quickly figured out that was not a viable path for me. But nonetheless, like trading specifically, but I've learned a lot now, and it's helped.
Yeah, I can't say I've learned a lesson similarly, but I feel like I've lost that amount of money on a Mustang before.
I'd say that emotional aspect of it is carried over to Bitcoin for me. Is if something's gone down dramatically, like nobody wants to sell and realize those losses because like you can't, once they realize like you can't get them back. So a lot of times what people do, and what I've done in the past too, is like when it goes down, like you think it gets to the floor, and it starts to come back up. You're like, oh, I'll average down a little bit. And then it doesn't have to go as high for me to break even or make money. And
then it goes down further.
Yeah. It's like looking at Bitcoin. It went from 126 and went all the way down to 80 and then quickly creep back up. And today, actually, it hit like 93, I think, for a moment. And I was talking to a friend of mine and it's like, oh, here we go again. It's like, well, it could flush down again.
Yeah.
Like it's,
We might see 70 still.
it's
You
stair
don't know.
stepping down. Like it goes up a little bit doesn't mean it's just going to continue to go up. It's like, I've seen this movie before. That's why at the end of the day, like I have, friends that have high risk tolerances. Like if they look at it and they can't lose like all their money, like they're not interested.
Right.
Like, they just have the highest risk tolerance. And hopefully we can have him on here soon.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like when it comes to like Bitcoin and stuff, and at this point in my life, it's like you have to have a plan before you buy. Like if you just buy, hope number goes up and number don't go up, and then you're like, oh, it's like, well,
I feel like that's the same for anything though. Like
Yeah.
you should have a plan regardless.
and this is family, friends, everyone that's watching. Like, I don't recommend that anyone just go buy Bitcoin. Like, there's very strict things. Like, I think you should have a basic knowledge of it. And I'm not saying like how it works and like, the open source code. Like, I have no idea how the open source code works. Like, there's enough smart people out there that I figured it out and validated it that I trust that.
Yeah.
But like, you should have a basic knowledge of like what it is, how it works, that it's decentralized, like what a node is, like nothing very high level. Like you should have a basic understanding, and you should have a price you're willing to buy it, how long you're going to hold it for. I wouldn't recommend selling it unless it's very long term from now and it's appreciated. But like, you should have a plan when you buy something. I would not. There's so many people that even like myself included, like we're coming up to 100, and it's like, it felt like, honest to God, it felt like escape velocity. Like it's going to 100, and I honestly thought it was going to blow past 100, and I thought we would probably never see under 100 again. So I wanted to get in before we got to that point. And if it came back down, I was fine with that.
Right.
But you have to have a plan. It's like people get FOMO, or the fear of missing out, so bad. Like it gets to like 125, and they're like, it's never going to 100 again. Like, what's the next stop? 150, and they pile in. And then it pulls back to 80, and they're down like 40%. They're like, oh my God. And it's like, well, that wasn't a good strategy or a good plan at all. Like, don't pile in at the top and then it doesn't go your way. Like, you have to have a plan. I saw so many people when it pulled back from like 126, everyone's like, it got back down to like 115. They're like, buy the dip. And then it goes to 110. They're like, buy the dip. And it goes down to 100. They're like, buy the dip. It's like, I'm not a big proponent for buying the dip. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but you just have to be conscientious. Like if Bitcoin's at 126 and it pulls back to like 105, it's like it could go down to 80, and it did.
Yeah.
So it's like if you just, you have cash sitting on the side, you buy the dip a bunch of times, it's like
That cash gonna run out real quick.
yeah, it runs out real quick, and then it's like your cost basis is still high versus if you were still on the same duration, like we recommend, like dollar cost averaging. It's like a certain time or interval or frequency that you buy at, and it's the same dollar amount. Stick to it. I'm not saying if it goes down a substantial amount and you have some extra cash you want to throw it in, there's nothing wrong with that. But
Right.
if you sold the Mustang and say you wanted to invest that money, I would not, every time it goes down 2%, to just pile into it. It's like you run out of money so fast. Like if you were to invest that, say your time horizon, you should invest over 3 months. Like you really need to stretch that out, because every time it goes down a little bit and you pile into it, it's like we have less resources for later.
Yeah.
And the whole point in DCAing is, sure, you may not get the best fills every time, but you also don't get the worst every time.
Right.
Like it evens the highs and the lows out, and that's the whole point.
Unless you set up automatic trading or automatic.
Then your fills are garbage.
Don't do that.
Yeah. It's no different than a 401. Like if you're going to put into a 401, like have a plan. And no, like I've said before, it can pull back. The longest it's ever gone without making an all-time high thus far is 3 years and 11 days. So if you can't hold, and that's not to say that it couldn't be longer next time. I mean, but if you're buying and you should be okay with holding for 3 years before needing that money again. I mean, granted, opportunities can pop up, but I would plan for that, and there's a reason for that. That's if you bought the very top, which I wouldn't recommend putting a lump sum in at the top, even if you think it's going to the moon. I'd like to apologize to everyone. This has been in the back of my mind for multiple episodes. I've forgotten. I apologize. But if you're still watching this episode, the first person that's liked, subscribed, and answers this question, I will Venmo you $20. The question is, how much money did I lose on that trade on April 14th of 2020?
And it has to be a number. You can't just be like a lot.
Yeah. So the first person to answer that, and they have to like the episode and be subscribed. I'm not gonna make you like share it and like track down your personal profiles and like.
Right.
But
hey, $20.
If you want to share it with a friend, we definitely encourage that. But yeah, first person to get it right, I will Venmo you $20. Buy Bitcoin with it.
Also, if you guys want to drop any Q4 goals, Vern's holding me to get mine written before next episode. So help me out, please. Let me know what you guys are working on. Covered a lot of stuff this time. We covered how important it is to have a plan.
Yes.
And I think that's just the biggest one. If you take anything from this, just make sure you have a plan.
Yep.
Also, that quote, I like that quote a lot. Can you repeat that, please?
Yes, I can. If money wouldn't change your day, you're already rich.
Yeah, just think about that for a little bit, and then holler at me with your goals.
And one more thing here before we close out. As we said a million times, I watch just a ton of content. I find a lot of very interesting stuff on YouTube, and it doesn't always necessarily apply to you or other people.
Yeah.
Like, I don't personally know anyone that's like actively trying to buy a business per se, but I find tons of great content, and I try to share it with my friends, but sometimes they just don't care, or they don't have time, or it doesn't apply to them. But I find it interesting, and I think one thing we'd like to move forward to, if anyone would be interested in this, is if I find valuable content, I'd like to curate it somewhere and share it with all of you guys. So it's not just our YouTube episodes, but other ones as well. If you guys are looking into buying a rental, business strategy, inspirational, wealth building, all kinds of different categories.
I mean, even egg cartons.
Yes, there's one on that. I'd like to start curating lists and just kind of a repository for you guys. If you guys are interested in a certain topic, not just our content, but other content and stuff that just like the classes I've watched, like stuff I would recommend. Like if you're into M&A, like here's who I'd go watch, or is a specific video I'd go watch. If you guys are interested in that at all, or there's certain topics you'd like me to cover, if you're more into real estate or investing, or you need more kick in the ass, you need some more inspirational stuff, there's tons of good stuff out there, and I've watched tons of good stuff and not good stuff. So look out for that on the horizon. If you got any suggestions or wants, wishes, drop them down below. Also, always appreciate comments. Don't forget to subscribe. And we'll just do into the outro. Good enough. That works.